a couple of veteran defensive ends out there that the Browns might pursue. But are you interested in either Jadeveon Clowney or Everson Griffen?
Yeah, I mean, again, I put Clowney kind of in that same category as Trent Williams, and I think you could even make the case that the need for Trent Williams prior to the draft, before we knew that they were going to take a tackle at number 10, you can make the case that he was more important to their chances in the next couple of years because they didn't have a left tackle than Clowney would be as a defensive end. But again, I still don't like the idea of getting involved in a huge contract extension or contract for a guy when that is not a real position of great need right now. I think Olivier-Vernon can be a very serviceable bookend, and I think Garrett is going to end up with 20 sacks one of these years if he stays on the field.
Wow. I think that your theory is correct, unless they really think this is the year that the window is open, and they may want to make a run for it. First of all, I wouldn't feel that way because I don't know that they're going to have a season, so I don't know if you make those commitments. The other thing,
I think that's part of it. That's an interesting point. I think that's part of it, and also, this is a team an organization that is still getting to know each other. I mean, they basically have been talking on Zoom and meeting players that way. And I think it's going to be hard for a team with a new organization, basically, new coaching staff, new front office, to go from where they were last year to, a deep into the playoff contention kind of team. Okay. I think they'll be good. I think they'll be they could be a 9 or 10 win team this year, but they could also be a 7 or 8 win team.
What I think you're saying here is that Jimmy Haslam has to have different expectations than he's had in other years. We assume that they blew off this pass regime with Dorsey and Freddie, but now you have to go back in time. You can't build from that. You have to erase that and then move on. So Jimmy Haslam, I think, has to have a different set of things he's looking for.
Yeah, I agree. And after a season that they had last year, I think he's looking for finally that symmetry between what the front office thinks is smart analytically and otherwise, and what this coaching staff is willing to implement from that side of the building. And I think they're in a much better situation to work together now than they've been in a long time. So we'll see.
On the other hand,
expect Stefanski to walk in as a rookie coach. I mean, we made a point of saying that Freddie had a lot to learn last year as a rookie. I mean, even though he didn't do well, that doesn't mean that Stefanski doesn't also have a lot to learn as a rookie head coach. So I think that it's a lot to ask these guys and the front office especially to go into these free agent signings thinking, boy, we're just going to go for it over the next couple of years.
Well, he also, if Everson Griffen is a guy that played at Minnesota, so that obviously Stefanski knows him very, very well, even though he's the other side of the ball. But he's older too. He's 32 years old, so I don't know if you want to make that move either.